Poway High School's choir department, and we've had our annual concert throughout the year, and those have been really fun. But extracurricularly as well, we've been sort of encouraged to join the SCVA, Southern California Vocal Association's honor choir, and the ACDA, California All-State Honor Choir, which we audition for in September each year. I auditioned my junior year and this year, my senior year in 2010, for those groups, and I was really lucky and honored to get in, and those were really fun. My junior year performed with Dr. Haberman, who is now the conductor of the Dallas Symphony, in the Southern California Honor Choir, and that was just an eye-opening experience. It was truly wonderful to, just in second year singing, to get to sing with these real professional musicians and learn so much about the art. I later that year had the complete privilege to sing with Dr. Peterson of Cal State Fullerton, the professor out there, who went up to San Jose that year in 2010, the spring of 2010, to conduct the inaugural California All-State Men's Chorus, and that was just super fun to be stuck in a room with 60 guys, a small chapel room. It was pretty sweet, but we really learned a lot. We had tons of fun, and we learned a lot, and it was just a great experience performing in San Jose with the California All-State Honor Choir in 2010. Like I said, I also have performed this year in the my senior year's honor choir. So in the fall of 2010, I performed in my second Southern California honor choir with his name slips me, but he is a community college director in Southern California, and he directed the male chorus down here in Southern California's honor choir this year, and it was super fun. Once again, tons of great repertoire and music that we went through, and all the lessons that we learned. Just like I said before, singing in an all-state men's choir with 60 guys in a small room is the same thing all over again. So that was really fun. Going into just recently, the spring of this year, I performed up in Sacramento with the Northern Arizona University's choir professor, and got a couple solos along with a couple of my colleagues in the California All-State Honor Choir, the mixed chorus this year that I participated in, and we sang a couple gorgeous pieces. All of them were gorgeous pieces, but a couple particularly that we dedicated to the tragedies in Japan and whatnot. It was really eye-opening to see how the music connected to our performance to the real world, and that was really fun. So just in the past couple of years, just through the honor choir societies, I've got those 4 performances, which were extremely fun. I'm a barbershop quartet. The past 2 years, Poway High School's barbershop group, a cappella, and we've been singing all around San Diego, up in LA at times, and that's been extremely fun. It's just my junior year, there were 8 guys. It was an octet, and we primarily performed just locally in our city of Poway and San Diego. Other than that, we just really practiced, solidified our technique, and that was my junior year. Now, going into my senior year, there weren't as many participants, and our choir director was more based on having us focus on a real professional quartet. So a couple of performers along with me, their names Zach Jensen, singing tenor, Matt Billman, singing baritone, and Eric Van Hennigan, singing bass, myself singing baritone.
This is what you call a plug for all the friends.
Anthony, this is Ricky. You just answered the question I've been dying to ask you for the last 5 minutes, and that is that, from your speaking voice, I would have guessed you were a baritone, and now you've answered that.
Yeah.
But my real question is, when you started high school, were you a baritone, or has your voice changed over the past 2 or 3 years?
It's changed. It's changed leaps and bounds, really.
Were you a tenor?
I couldn't go above a middle C and now I'm singing about 3/4 of an octave above that. I was more of a bass. I just had a restricted range really when I started, like every singer does. You sort of elasticize yourself into being able to perform more difficult pieces, which requires more difficult range. So it really has changed a ton. I've become, rather than just a baritone, more of a lyric baritone, and even been sort of questioned as a tenor sometimes, but primarily baritone music right now.
Anthony, what was your experience at Carnegie Hall like?
Yeah, my junior year we did perform. The chamber choir, Poway High School's chamber choir, was invited to the National Choir's performance in Carnegie Hall. It was the most spectacular performance I've ever been in. It truly connected music to reality in the sense that we had a classmate of ours pass away just last year, my junior year, Chelsea King, and after that happened, the entire school truly became unified, and in Carnegie Hall we dedicated one of our songs, Esto Les Digo, a Spanish piece that just is completely gorgeous, but to dedicate it to her was made it even more electrifying, and it was, you truly felt blessed on that stage. It was a little intimidating, I'm not going to lie, to look out in this sort of endless hall and not be able to hear something in front of your face, but then you hear it bounce back at you 5 seconds later.
Anthony, I have a question for you. One of my daughters is involved with a school here in Vegas, similar to what you have out there. She goes to Las Vegas Academy for Performing Arts, and she's in the technical and sound design. She has her most fun with musicals. Tell me about some of the musicals you've performed in over the last couple of years.
Over the last couple of years, like I said, I joined choir my sophomore year. I hadn't really participated in too many extracurricular activities other than the musical that year, which truly showed me that I had a passion for performing. I had the most wonderful cast. My sophomore year in Guys and Dolls, my high school's musical, that was my very first one. We performed Guys and Dolls. I was just, master of ceremonies, the guy that announced all the hot box girls, all the hot box dancers.
Right.
It was just a real fun part. I really learned a lot through that, and I progressed more into the summer. I performed, I believe actually that spring, in Miss Saigon. That was my first lead role. I was a student-directed that year. I played the part of Chris, an American soldier in Vietnam, going through the battles of the relationships overseas compared to on the motherland. So other than that, I went into some community theater that summer and performed with Broadway Theater Arts Academy up in Escondido, just another suburb of San Diego. Through that, I performed in their productions of Les Miserables and Christmas Carol, which I primarily used as a learning experience. I played an ensemble role in Les Miserables and the part of Marley in the Christmas Carol, the ghost and the friend of Scrooge. It was really fun. It really showed me how to balance my extracurriculars based on my academic life and make sure that I knew and set my priorities straight and could still enjoy some of the extracurricular priorities and not just limit myself to being so academically stuck.
Anthony, Anthony, excuse me. These guys really want to know about Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, yeah? Well,
That's our genre.
This year, Poway High School performed the production of Fiddler on the Roof. Model Comes Oil, the eccentric, neurotic Taylor. Matt Billman, the other guy in our quartet, performed Tevye. And it was a completely wonderful musical. Everybody really gave it their all. Beautiful actors and actresses all over the board. All the characters were great. They completely got their part down. Almost sold out crowds every night. It was really fun. We performed that this February, and every time you stepped on stage, you sort of had that feeling of electric going through your body. It was really great.
Anthony, you know, Dad never told you this, but when you did Godspell, and when you played Jesus, and when they crucified you at the end, I almost fainted.
Well, yeah, I think if anybody's getting crucified and it's your son in front of you, you'd faint. But
and Cheryl started crying and everything. So we were happy when you came back into the audience and let them all know that it was not real.
Yeah, no, it was a really fun musical. It was really. I actually learned a lot of the gospel through that, which is important to me. So that was actually a really useful musical, not only just acting experience, but in my real life, to learn a lot through that. And it just shows once again how much you can learn through the arts into your real life.
Anthony, what's the future look like? College? Where is your music going to take you?
Well, music's gonna take me places, and it's gonna take all my colleagues places as well. I'll be attending Point Loma Nazarene University, studying with Dr. Craig Johnson for vocal performance. I'm already cast in their opera for the fall of next year, playing the part of Nardo in Mozart's La Finta Giardiniera. It's a great fun opera. And along with that, actually tonight, I'm heading to my rehearsal to rehearse for my audition at 9:30 tonight, Pacific Coast time, for the San Diego Lyric Opera. So I will be hopefully performing with them next year, alongside with the San Diego Opera, which performs in our Civic Theater, our main theater here in San Diego. And so, I mean, really, I'm shooting for the professional performing career, that really solid touring career, hopefully around the world. I have all the motivation with me from all my peers, all my family, and that's really built me to believe that I can do whatever I set my mind to, because so far that's definitely been true, and I've impressed myself along with many others have impressed me from what they've learned.
Boy, I hope they're not pulling you over for talking on your cell phone. One last question, Anthony, and then I think we'll let you go get ready for rehearsal.
Alrighty.
We've had the pleasure of being on the radio with your father now for almost a year, and Cash and I have learned quite a lot about the industry and his background. But here's the $68,000 question for you. What's been his biggest piece of advice to you in order to be a professional performer?
Could you repeat that again?
What's been the biggest piece of advice that your dad has given you as you now begin your trek towards professional entertaining, singing, and the like?
It's definitely that nobody's perfect, and no matter how good you get relative to everybody else, there's always somebody else that's better, because there's always going to be those other goals that you haven't reached, because you always need to have goals that are out of reach so that you can keep reaching for them. And because everybody's not perfect, it's really necessary that performers don't fall behind in their own minds and think that they're too good already, as a 30-year-old, 40-year-old performers come to think, because they are so professional, but they're not the best.
You have to set
and
your
so
bar.
to have that mindset that perfectionism is unattainable, you just need to strive for that, and you'll reach excellence. That's the most important thing for any performer.
You've always set your bars very high, and that's why I'm so proud.
Anthony,
of you.
I have one quick question. How old are you now?
I'm 17.
Going on 40?
Yeah.
I've spoken to a great number of 17-year-olds in my illustrious career, and I have to tell you that this is probably the most mature conversation I've listened to with a 17-year-old in my entire life. And I want to tell you that's a lot of years, Anthony. Not as many as your dad, but plenty up there.
Cash is 120, so it's a lot of years.
And I want to tell you how I know how proud you make him, And now that we've had a chance to listen to you as well, we can certainly understand why that pride is there. And all I can say is continued success. You are already a superstar, and achieve whatever goals you set for yourself, because I know you can.
Well said.
All right,
Well said,
thank
Cash.
you so much.
Any final words to your son before we let him go off to rehearsal?
No, I just am very proud of him, and he always sets his bar higher than he can reach them, and he keeps getting higher and higher and higher.
It's the best way, it sounds like, to succeed, right from the Tony Martini School of Image Productions.
Yeah,
Keep reaching.
I'm very proud of you,
Anthony, we thank you for taking time with us. Good luck with your rehearsal. Good luck with your endeavors, and I know this is not going to be the last time we'll talk to you here on Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey. Thanks again for joining us.
And I'll see you
All
tomorrow.
righty, well,
son.
thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Anthony.
See you.
Anthony Martini joining us here live from San Diego on his way to a rehearsal, no less. And you took the words out of my mouth. I'm listening to him at 17, and he's talking like he's 47.
Right.
30 years career experience already, and that's tremendous.
It shouldn't surprise us. It really shouldn't, because of the guy next to us.
Absolutely.
But still, we all try to be a certain role model
Absolutely.
for our kids, and we certainly would like them to get the best of our behavior.
Experience.
And behavior. Okay? Well, it's like a mini-me with Tony and Anthony. And
Absolutely.
Tony, you've got to just sit back and we have a word in Yiddish called kvel.
I was going to say chalish.
Well, kvel, halish, and it's just it's a feeling of
Exuberance.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That other people can talk about your son or your family that way, and you got to feel like, wow, I may not be perfect, but man, I'm doing a pretty good job of trying to get there.
Well, what's the old saying? Success begets success, right?
I think legacies should evolve around your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Number one,
Well, we've given Tony 3 months rest from his show, although he's been on Vegas Unwrapped the last couple of weeks. One with Don Hill, and you surprised us a few weeks ago when we had Echoes of the 60s on later on in that same show. But now we're back to Tony Martini and My 50-Year Journey, and one of the reasons that he's been away from the airwaves on a regular basis is because of Image Productions. And when we come back from our first stoppage here at the bottom of the hour, we're going to learn a little bit more about what Tony's done to revamp Image Productions and tell some more anecdotes and things and get back on track. So as we go out to break, we're going to listen to Tony Martini with All of Me, coming to you live from RadioZone1.com, VegasUnwrapped.net. Phillips and Cash. We will be right back, right on the other side.
Thank you.
All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I wanna lose them. Take my arms, I never use them. Your goodbyes left me with eyes that cry. How can I get along without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. Now that I'm lost without you, now that you took the part that used to be my heart, all of me? Why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm a mess without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me?
All right, Tony Martini, all of me. Boy, you don't sound too bad recorded. We have you live. We got you recorded. We got the whole thing.
That's not That's not too bad after not singing for quite some time.
No,
It took me about a year and a half to get the voice back.
By the way, you can give us a call. The phone lines are now open at 702-467-7860. If you have a question for Tony, and a new thing we're gonna introduce here in a second, you can email us at info@radiozone1. That's the number 1.com, or email us through vegasunwrapped@gmail.com, because our email is attached right here to my phone. If you have any questions or comments for Tony, we can certainly pass them on. So let's talk about Image Productions for a little bit. It's been a while. You kind of revamped some things. Did you want me to read this now, or do you want to wait?
I like what you you just read to me.
All right, so we'll share it with
everybody. Let
Okay.
everybody hear it. Sure.
All right. Have you dreamed of being an entertainer? Do you want to improve your public speaking and image? Not sure how to break into the industry? Well, Tony Martini from Image Productions will not only help train you and your voice, but upon completion of your training, he will introduce you to an international audience on his very own show, Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey. Cash, that's this one right here.
Can't wait.
As a souvenir, you will also receive a copy of your appearance performing on the show. That's right, performing on the show, to be used for future demos or to just monitor your progress. Whether you are a senior in high school or a senior in life, Tony will show you it is never too late to follow your dreams and passion. Tony has over 50 years of experience in entertainment producing and or performing with some of the biggest names in the industry. So don't waste another minute. Pick up the phone. Call Tony right now at Image Productions at area code 702-813-7888. That's Image Productions, 702-813-7888. Tony Martini believes in not setting the bar too low. Set it high to keep aiming. 702-813-7888.
Very nice.
Not bad for a script written about an hour ago.
Is that about me?
That's about you, and it's about Image Productions, man. It's about everything we talk about. Let's talk about Image Productions, because it's you keep continuing to overhaul it to make it the best possible product and support mechanism for those who, and it's not just about entertainment. Yes, singers and performers, but public speakers, kids who want to get their interview skills down pat. I mean, you've really kind of revamped a very hands-on support mechanism in Image Productions to have people believe in themselves and believe following their passion, which is what you're all about.
Frank said to me one day, okay, I said, Mr. Sinatra, I said, what's the secret to your success? He says, underexposure. I says, okay. He says, I never spend more than 45 minutes on stage singing a song, and when they're yelling, come back for more, come back, come back, come back, I usually don't. And I think that that makes a statement in itself, you know, leave the people wanting more.
Wanting more.
But the message that I'm trying to give to all the people out there that are interested in Image Productions is that I studied with Barbra Streisand's coach. I was with the best people in the world that were Academy Award winners, arrangers, great, not only singers and dancers, but just wonderful public images, all right, speakers as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been all over the place in my young life. And I want to share that with people out there, because I was blessed to have the greatest people in the world guide me. There's people out there that keep saying, I can't do that. I don't have the money. I don't have this. I don't have that. I never want to hear that from anyone. When a person like myself is welcoming you in and not quoting any figures to you, just a phone call, a place on the show, a place that will present you very professionally so that you can critique yourself, see yourself, etc., etc. I can't give you any more, guys.
And I think for those who want a refresher on that, let's go back to December and January, what you did with Francesca as really the template of what you're expressing right now. Here is an international performer who made her mark years ago overseas, who wanted the opportunity to make a impact here.
Right.
And for, I mean, how many weeks we had her on the show that her following, not only did she get better and better, and not that she wasn't bad, you know, in the first place, but well, sure, she stopped because of some personal reasons and whatnot, and really to kind of jump back in the saddle. But in terms of what the exposure that you can provide somebody through this medium, as well as working with somebody to hone or resharpen or recapture those skills, Cash, I mean, Francesca was the epitome of that process.
Yeah, she's a talented person who, given the opportunity, could have and still will reach greater heights.
Absolutely.
Under Tony's tutelage.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks volumes of what image production's all about.
I think it takes the greatest energy for any performer, public person, to look in the mirror and say, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want everyone out there to do tonight. Look in the mirror. You only have one shot at life. It's not a rehearsal. Don't waste any moments in this wonderful gift that God gave us. So look in the mirror, follow your dreams, follow your passion. I'm here to help you. It's up to you.
Now, I know I have a friend of mine who I've met through other friends of friends through some of our travels. Her short nickname is Cleo. She's supposed to be listening tonight, and she's a singer. And I've been urging her to get in touch with you. And I'm glad you said what you did about the you don't look at the dollars and cents, you don't quote prices, because one of the reasons that she hasn't pursued it for herself has been the monetary investment for her to do what she needs to do. And I'm urging her to pick up the phone, call with Tony. I've never seen Tony turn anybody away. I mean, little do these people know, you and I are far from perfect in what we do. But I know this man listens to everything that we do, whether he's on Vegas Unwrapped or here with us. We've been work in progress for a year, so don't use us as a barometer. But he continues to work.
Well, you know what? Without going overboard, I'd have to say that we should use us, because when we first started, we had some chemistry, but we didn't have this rapport and this back and forth that it almost fits like a glove that we do today. And I think a lot of that is from the stuff we heard from Tony and Tony's critique of our own show, as well as when we were on with him.
Right.
And I think we've come a long way. And not bad, Pancho. Not bad.
Well, I'm going to thank you for that. I mean, I didn't expect anything like that from you guys, but because I think that you both are like peanut butter and jelly. But, I was listening to my son just a short while ago, and I have never, ever heard him express himself so eloquently.
It was great.
Because the one thing that I want to remind us all of, these are things that I know, but I always remind myself that I should spend more time with the people that have their passions under the bed, and they don't bring it out because of some complexes that other people may have given them. Beware of other people. Okay? Look in the mirror, believe in you, not the other people. You and you alone can be anything that you choose to be. And that's what I heard in my son's voice tonight.
Yeah, there's no question that he is focused to such a great extent that
beyond what I knew.
Yeah, it certainly seems that exactly. The fact that he is that focused, other things that could contribute to a deterioration of that, he just won't allow it in.
No, exactly.
That's great.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, for 17.
Well, that's a perfect example of somebody having total confidence in themselves, not me, not you, not Phil, but himself, themselves, and going for it.
Well, it's tremendous, no question about it. And
So I'm giving back a lot that I never expected in life. And, I've been around the world. I've been with the greatest people in the world.
now,
And
correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. Somebody doesn't have to live here in Vegas to take advantage of Image
No,
Productions,
of course
right?
not.
In other words, you've got a following here. I mean, we've had over 300,000 listeners at one point to the Tony Martini show.
Right.
And we have people obviously from all over the world that have heard you and your your thoughts on this kind of stuff. I want to make sure that our audience understands this is open to everybody.
And the nice thing about it is that now with the new technology, we're on everything, thanks to John, Radio Zone 1, Phil, and yourself. I mean, the
Skype.
exposure that we're getting
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know when I was a kid and somebody wanted me to do a talent show, okay? We had this much exposure compared to what's available to you today. Today, you're going all over the world now, either on Facebook, on YouTube, on
MySpace,
websites, and so forth. It's immeasurable what exposure you can get with one performance, like one on Oprah, one on us, makes you a star within a very short period of time. I
Sure.
only wish that I was growing up during your times.
I mean, just look what's happening in our news today with Twitter, and how you could put
Get in
something
trouble.
and you could put something on Twitter,
Yep.
and the next thing you know, you're in congressional hearings.
By the way, I want to give out.
We're gonna roll on that one tomorrow
I
night.
wa-
That's a big rant.
I want to give listeners, because I just got a confirmation text that my friend Cleo is listening. So I want to give out your phone number. So grab a pen and paper. It's area code 702-813-7188. That's 813-78. What did I say? 7188. 813-7888. 813-7888 for Image Productions and Tony Martini.
Now, our friends at Neon Vacation.
Yeah,
right?
Shannon is listening.
Shannon's listening.
Yep.
Shannon should. I should tell Shannon what to do. Listen to me. But Shannon, obviously, Image Production should be something that Neon Vacation grabs a hold of too, and puts them on your website.
Absolutely.
And leave a voicemail. Leave a voicemail. Obviously, I can't pick up the phone right now, so leave a voicemail, and I will get back to you. I promise.
All right. I want to play a song. We'll take a little break here. We're going to play one of the most requested songs that airs on Radio Zone 1, and that is, of course, your version of Summer Wind, which I also want to announce is if you go to Tony Martini's Facebook page, look it up, Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey. There's a couple of songs on his band profile. This is one of them. Tony is registered on Reverb Nation with this song, I Gotta Be Me, and I think I put one more out there. I don't remember, but you can now get Tony's music through Reverb Nation, plus your CDs are still available.
Yes.
The full CD that is now released. Anyway, Summer Wind by Tony Martini.
Thank you.
And we will be right back.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your head and walk with me. All summer long we sang a song and strolled the golden sand. Two sweethearts sang the summer wind. Like painted kites, the days and nights, they went flying by. The world was new beneath the blue umbrella sky. Then softer than a piper man, One day it called to you, and I lost you to the summer wind. The autumn wind and the winter wind have come and they have gone, and still the days, those lonely days, they go on and on. And guess who sighs his lullabies through nights that never end? My fickle friend, the summer wind, the summer wind, the summer wind.
Tony, we had Tony in stereo during that song. Everybody was listening to the cut off the CD, but we had the live version here of Tony. And I'll tell you what, it was that. Remember the old commercial? Is it live or Memorex? It was sort of tough to tell.
It was excellent.
Oh my goodness! Well, all I know is how indubitably. Not like indubitably. Isn't that a good word?
That's a big word like mayonnaise.
Exactly. Indubitably. Is that like 12 syllables?
It's more than I can count to.
Well, indubitably, that was a tremendous version of Summer Wind. And Tony, you do it well, whether it's taped or live. And
Well,
you know,
you're responsible
that's
for
my.
Summer Wind.
I know. I know. That's my favorite song.
I'm in the studio, folks, and we're doing masters, all right? That means the finishing of the CD. And he says, don't forget Summer Wind. I want Summer Wind.
You're sitting at the panel with the guy, and I'm sitting behind you, and I'm whispering, Summer Wind, Summer. Because he was trying to plot a course with the type of music.
But John
right?
told me that all of his gang's calling him, and they say, we like Summer Wind. So I guess Summer Wind is...
Does Evelyn like Summer Wind? Does your mom like Summer Wind, John? Yep.
Yeah,
See, there you go.
definitely.
Yeah.
In
So that's
fact, the
good.
people at work like it, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
Eddie
good.
came up to me. He says, you nailed Summer Wind.
See, your executive music producer wasn't wrong. All right.
Well, listen, let me help you
go
out
ahead.
there. If you don't let me help you, then I'm going to get a complex.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That's the last thing he needs right now. All right.
Tony,
so,
I have a question
go
for
for
you.
it.
What?
You know, a couple of weeks ago we had you on Vegas Unwrapped with Don Hill, and
I enjoyed that.
Tremendous show.
And I'm
It's up on archives, by the way.
I still get goosebumps from it. And the fact of the matter is, Tony, is that right now, I mean, at your senior best, you don't have too many conversations like that with people 10 years or more older than you.
No.
How is that for you? Did you feel like a kid again?
No, actually, I was searching to pull the best out of him regarding him describing that he was a style setter. He was very modest.
He's a very modest man.
modest.
And I didn't like that. I mean, I took because you know here we have one of the legends of all time, like Sammy Butera, who was with the Witnesses and Louis Prima, and they set a whole new style, zumba 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 zumba, you know, the shuffle beat. But this gentleman that's 89 years old and razor sharp, very modest,
Looks better than Cash.
and I mean,
What do you mean, yeah?
He looked better than Cash,
What do
and
you
he
mean?
agreed.
no, I wasn't going.
Okay.
I was saying.
Let me get Anthony on
back
the
on
phone.
the phone.
I was saying to he looks better than most people.
Oh, okay. All right. Kick saving the beauty.
Yeah, really.
I recover very quickly.
Stanley Cup final.
But but the Trenier twins were one of the greatest groups in the world, along with Louis Prima, the characters, the novelists. I know that most of you young people don't know who these people are, but you know what? They're music history.
Mm-hmm.
So just hit your phones, pull up the characters, the novelists, the vagabonds, the Treniers, and you will see who they are and were. It's all over the place. Nowadays, you have the technology to say, there's no way of you saying, I can't find out what he's talking about.
exactly.
Okay, I don't want any excuses now.
That's their homework assignment. Actually, no, the Treniers, they would actually enjoy seeing more through YouTube because of some of the videos and old clips that are out there of them pre-Motown with the dance steps and the choreography.
Absolutely.
They were the first ones.
And that was that was one of my comments that, I thought Motown, right, originated all the dance moves with the Temptations and Smokey and all those guys. No, it wasn't. I know.
Well, then,
Now he knows.
then let's reaffirm exactly because they worked for me. The Step Brothers, the Nicholas Brothers, the greatest dancers in the history of dance. I mean, they set the style.
Absolutely.
And so look up the Nicholas Brothers, look up the Step Brothers. And
of course the Treniers.
And obviously, Sammy, Louis Prima, the gentleman we're speaking about right now, Don Hill. Everyone was influenced initially by the two names that I threw at you. All right, because it was within a group of entertainers that never made a lot of money. I used to sing in the alleys of New York City in the ghettos. And the old women or the older people who had the money, the kids didn't have the money, we were all poor, it was the Great Depression. They used to wrap pennies in a piece of paper, piece of newspaper, with a rubber band. And they used to throw it down to me and say, Tony, sing Vigino Mare. Tony, sing Way Marie. Because they all knew my grandmother was teaching me all these wonderful Italian songs. Well, a lot of people don't know who taught dance. The Nicholas Brothers, the Step Brothers taught dance, and all the groups thereafter incorporated their steps on stage with guys like Don Hill.
And it's funny, I was thinking about what you said about him not wanting to come out of his shell, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's because if you recall what he said, he rarely spoke on stage because the twins
were in charge.
They were in charge, but they thought literally, and not figuratively, but literally, they thought Don was ignorant in terms of his ability to speak. And yet here comes Don up to the microphone, and the guy spoke very eloquently.
Oh, very eloquently.
But they never let him. But he spoke with that saxophone.
But he also spoke from the heart.
Yes. Oh, I'll tell you, absolutely.
Well, from
absolutely.
the heart. You could hear the pathos.
Yep.
These are big words for. I didn't learn them in
Pathos?
school. Okay, I learned them from all of these wonderful people
I'm
that
turning
I was
to my
associated
historian
with.
to find out what that means.
You got it. Okay. You got it.
So it means chutzpah. Chutzpah.
You need a little more phlegm.
Chutzpah.
There you go.
It's like a.
But that little statement I made about singing in the alleys of Brooklyn. What do you think they did in New Orleans? Do you think those great musicians that are all over this wonderful, wonderful city? Do you think that those musicians were born musicians? Were born dancers? Were born singers? They were so poor that this is how they entertained themselves. They didn't have any of the technology that everybody has out there now. They made the best of their body, and they followed their passions, and they killed the people. And all the people, as they were performing on the streets of New Orleans, they had a little hat. They used to throw money in it because they love these performers. New York City, same thing. Even today, you can go to New York City, right outside of Carnegie Hall, and see not blind people like I hear so much about. Oh, the handicapped people are begging for food. What a shame that they make that kind of mistake. They're not. They're showing people, whether you're blind, you have complete vision or not, they want to be heard.
Absolutely.
That's it. And they don't ask for anything.
Kind of like August Rush.
I mean,
Yeah.
You saw that movie, August Rush?
I have to.
You must.
Yes.
You must, because it will send chills right up and down your spine.
Well,
Okay.
let's see. It sounded like one quick hang up, and that was it. Must have been a wrong number.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We'll get them next time.
But yeah, I'm just trying to send a message
Absolutely.
out there that you take what's in your heart and you want to convey it not to only you, but to a person in front of you. There were nights when there was only one person in the audience for me, and I did the same show every single night. So I did it because I loved it.
Good evening. This is Ricky Cash and the Tony Martini Show. Who's calling, please?
This is Cleo.
Hey,
Cleo.
that's my friend.
Tony Martini.
That's my friend I was talking about.
Hi,
Tony.
Cleo. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi,
Well, thank
hi,
you.
Cleo. How are you, dear?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Also,
There's a big echo.
Well, that's because there's probably a little delay.
Yeah, are you sitting by your computer?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
so
talk to me. You're the man that has the master plan that can hook me up with a demo or something, I hear.
yes, I can do that very easily.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Here.
So what you must do, my dear Cleo, is you must call me at an opportunistic time, and then we'll hook up, and I'll show you how it's done.
That sounds fabulous, dear. You're speaking my language.
Now,
It's not very complicated, is it?
now, Cleo, did you
No,
jot
it's
down the?
not.
Cleo-
No, I just need I just need time. That's the only thing I'm short on.
Well, that's okay.
He'll work around that with you. Did you jot down the phone number when I read it before?
No, I didn't, but you can text it to me.
All right, I'll get it over to you so you can call him.
I thought you were giving out my phone number, and I was saying that's not my number.
No,
Sorry,
why would
I?
It's so.
Why
it's
would
so,
I be giving out your number?
It's so nice to hear from
Okay,
you.
guys. Well, Aaron, you'll give me that number, Mr. Martini. I will be in touch with you.
Absolutely. 813-7888.
8137.
888. 3 8s. Okay, and the area code 702.
I'll get it over to you.
Thank you very much, dear.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Cleo.
Night.
Bye. See that?
and that was Cleo, ladies and gentlemen,
right.
a future
Isn't that nice?
a future
Student.
image production
Student.
Students is very appropriate for me because I want to be the teacher.
You know,
Well,
and-
let's
and you, and you
remind.
do that well.
I want to be the TS. I want to, if I can't teach at this age, and with the experience that I've gone through, then I better hang it up.
Hey, have you dreamed of being an entertainer, Cash?
All my life.
Do you want to improve on your public speaking and image?
I need that, you know.
Not sure how to break into the industry?
I thought I was broken.
Well, you're broken. Okay. Well, Tony Martini from Image Productions will not only help train you in your voice, but upon completion of your training, he will introduce you to an international audience right here on this very show, the Tony Martini My 50-Year Journey. And as a souvenir, you will also receive a copy of your appearance performing on the show to be used for future demos or, in your case, to continue to monitor your progress.
Will I be able to sing back the knife on the Tony Martini show?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know
Let
if
me-
Mac the Knife, but maybe some plastic utensils. I have no idea.
I want to do a shout out to all the graduates, and because they're graduating all over the world right
Absolutely.
now. And being that my son was on the show, which I appreciate very, very much. John, thank you for that as well, for putting him in all these different countries that we're going to now. I think that if I would do anything that really is unselfish, it would be to teach. Did I say that? Okay.
You did it right because it's the most unselfish occupation in the world.
Teach. I mean, I've done it. I'd like to teach. Yeah.
All right, I just got the word that we can go 15 more minutes because of our late start and get a full hour in. So let me, what song you want the audience to hear as we take our final step out here? Boss, what would you like them to hear off your CD?
You got everything right here.
Your CD's right here.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well,
let's do.
I got to get the rest of your music loaded
How
up.
about the comeback song?
Let me try again.
Let me try
got
my
it.
favorite.
This is a hard
All right,
one.
that's good.
Not to. I'll set it up.
Go ahead.
This was Frank's comeback song, 1969, after his heart was broken by Ava Gardner, and he quit singing, and then he did this international TV special.
For
called
45 minutes.
Let Me Try Again. This is the title song.
Here you go. Let Me Try Again by Tony Martini.
Tell me if you like this.
I know I said that I was leaving, I just couldn't say goodbye. It was only self-deceiving to walk away from someone who means everything in life to you. You learn from every lonely day. I've learned and I've come back to stay. Let me try again. Let me try again. Think of all we had before, and let me try once more. We can have it all, you and I again. Just forgive me or I'll die. Please let me try again. I was such a fool to doubt you, to try to go it all alone. There's no sense to life without you. Now all I do is just exist and think about the chance I've missed to beg. It's not an easy task, but pride is such a foolish man. Let me try again. Let me try again. Think of all we had before, and let me try once more. We can have it all, you and I again. Just forgive me or I'll die. Please let me try And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each
And every highway.
Oh no.
Much more than this. We
Did it their
his
way.
way.
Well, we have to.
We have to. It's his show. Aaron Phillips, Ricky Cash, Tony Martini. A little bit of My Way, sneak it in there behind. Let me try again. Frank Sinatra's Rebound song, as you called it. And what a great rendition that was.
Yeah, I told you the history of that.
Yes. Yep.
Written in France, and then Paul
Anka
Anka grabbed
right?
it. And you know what? I was looking at the litany of names that you typed up for me regarding about 25 concerts that I did for the greats. But I forgot James Brown, the greatest dancer, the greatest influence in dancing for the soul era of my group of people.
Absolutely.
You don't have James. You didn't put James Brown in there.
James
I
Brown
don't
is
think
like.
I
let's
put
see.
him in there.
I have the list right here in front of me. Jose Feliciano, Johnny Mathis, Glenn Campbell, Roger Miller, Jeannie C. Riley, The Fifth Dimension, Ray Charles, Ike and Tina Turner, Tina by herself, the Platters, the Drifters, the Ink Spots, the Coasters, the Four Freshmen, Kingston Trio, Tiny Tim, who we talked about a couple of weeks ago,
Right.
Glenn Yarborough, Red Fox, the Nicholas Brothers, Goldfinger and Dove, Marlena Dietrich, Barbie Benton, the Fabulous Dorsey Show, Limelighters, Alan Rossi, and no, James Brown is not in this list. How dare you?
I really apologize. let me tell you about James, who was the king of soul. Let me remind you.
No doubt.
Need I remind you,
No.
the younger people out there, this was the man that ate up a stage with his individual dancing and his soulful singing. And the president of the United States gave him the highest award that they could ever give any civilian.
Mm-hmm.
All right? It was the Freedom Medal.
Freedom
right?
Medal, right?
Am I correct?
I believe that is the right, right medal.
the Freedom Medal. And, I don't know why I'm thinking of all these things and remembering them. I'm just punting right now. I don't have one of those things in front of me, folks.
We don't have a cheat sheet.
Okay. But let me say this. So he comes to Hawaii, and his manager is telling me, he's very temperamental. He's this, he's that. And I said, listen. I says, I don't have a problem with anybody, and I really don't. I mean, if I didn't have a problem with Red Fox talking about temperamental, hey, Tony, I'm not going out there to meet Earl Wilson, only the greatest columnist in the world at that time. I don't feel like doing it right now. I don't feel good. So anyway, so I walk in. So I give him the suite at the Sheraton Waikiki. Beautiful suites and everything. I took great care of all of my stars. And I said, it's my pleasure, Mr. Brown, to have you. I mean, you've been a legend for many, many years. And we did all the military bases. We did the civilian market. And I watched this guy dance. And we were talking about the influence of dance with the Nicholas Brothers and the Step Brothers. Well, he was there. He was the granddaddy. He was the granddaddy to all these people. And he had more influence individually for dance. I mean, real soulful dancing. He ate up the stage. If he did not dance like he did and sing like he did together,
Wouldn't have
he
worked.
would not. It wouldn't have worked. It would have
Yeah,
been
separately.
missing.
Yeah.
There would have been a void. Because it was the two. They couldn't believe that this guy would dance like he did. I can't even explain it because I'm not a dancer, you know.
Right.
So anyway, so he goes on stage, and I'm going to tell you, he was wringing wet
Always.
after every single
Always.
show. And before the show, he did a permanent.
Right.
I used to
Right.
walk in on him.
Right.
He said, hey, Tony, he had a little rough voice, He's a pretty rough guy. This is real street. This is as street as me when I was born in the streets of Brooklyn, the Red Hook Projects. It doesn't get any more street than that. But it did where he came from in the South.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a difference between a metropolitan city and the South when you're growing up in poverty. Trust me on that one. So, but he was very eloquent, and there was one thing that he never went on stage without, and that was a permanent. So I watched the girl, and I'm talking to him. He says, what do you want me to do, Tony? I said, just be yourself. Just go out there and kill them. You have your whole orchestra. You have everybody. All your fans love you, You don't have to promote. But I said, do you do this every show, Jay? He says, of course I do. I said, I don't go anywhere without my girl. And she had all these pins in his hair and everything. He had beautiful hair.
Sure.
And he wasn't a big guy, pretty frail. Because he danced it away. He
Right.
didn't have any meat left on him,
Before Richard Simmons knew what Richard Simmons dancing was what?
Exactly. Wow. And he had some trials and tribulations in life.
Absolutely.
But you know what?
But he always felt good.
Never gave up.
Right.
And you know what? For the president to honor him after being through what he was through, and I'm not going to mention it because who cares?
Right.
But
He'd always say, I feel good.
you hear about Let Me Try Again, the
Yeah.
song? He would never quit. He was, and he lived a great life. And I probably would be dead if I lived his life. I wouldn't be around.
I think to kind of segue that as we wrap up, first of all, I want to remind everybody tomorrow night from 8 to 10, Vegas Unwrapped will be on with Cash and I. Tony, next week, same time, same bat channel?
Yeah.
All right. So welcome back. It's good to have you back on.
Fun. I've had fun.
And it was a quick hour, even though we got a little late start. But on the heels of what he's been talking about, Cash, I had the perfect song all queued up to take us out.
Do you really? Go for it.
All right. You're Nobody Till Somebody Loves You by Tony Martini.
Go, do it.
We'll see you next week here on the Tony Martini Show. But tomorrow night, 8 to 10, Vegas Unwrapped. Here you go. You're Nobody Till Somebody Loves You by Tony Martini.
Can't live without love.
You are nobody until somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares. Now you may be king, you may possess the world and its gold, but gold won't bring you happiness, not when you're growing old. You know the world is the same. You'll never change it. Just as sure as the stars shine above. Well, you are nobody until somebody comes in loves you. So find yourself somebody to love. I said the world is still the same. You'll never change it. Just as sure as the stars